Hi everyone. It seems like we haven't been on for a while for some reason. I don't think we've made that many podcasts recently. I noticed when I when I turned the light on and the ring light, Remy's eyes kind of opened. Oh, are we on again? So yeah, it's very cold here today. Very unlike Ireland, very snowy. So we're staying snug here at the fire, and we're going to get into this, which I hope will be a helpful podcast on how having a relationship with you in particular may well backfire on the narcissist. So this it's so strange, but when you actually understand how a narcissist thinks and operates, it's a very healing place to be because it makes sense of what you actually went through. It explains why they do what they do, and it breaks down the illusionary nature of what they want you to think, which really does help as a first stage of healing. I know there was someone on there in the comments asking for more healing videos, and they are coming, specific healing videos, and that's the book I'm working on at the moment. But in order to heal, it is first necessary to understand and accept what you went through and who the person was that you were with, in order for you to put a structure on how to go about healing. And staying stuck and not understanding what you went through is exactly what narcissists want us to do. They want us to be in the most amount of pain because that keeps us stuck and that keeps us waiting, and that keeps us as an option for them to come back and hoover us back into a relationship. So let's break that illusion the narcissist left you with, that you weren't good enough, that the narcissist was superior, and that the narcissist has gone off to a much better life. In my opinion, that is exactly not the case. That is exactly the opposite of the truth. So the more you understand about narcissists, basically, is your first port of call on a healing journey. When you're ready to move more forward with that, you get into the self-care, you get into understanding yourself more, you get into moving your own life forward, you get into the recovery journey as such. But it's a great starting point to understand how and why and what the heck went on in your relationship with the narcissist. So that's just a starting point. I am not building you up, but it may build you up, and if it does, all well and good, because you deserve to be built up after you've been knocked down and taken apart by a narcissist. Narcissists generally, if they're not stuck for transitionary supply, i.e. people that will supply them with narcissistic fuel between big relationships, between the stable relationships, as stable as they are with narcissists, but the ones where they're getting a constant supply of fuel. Narcissists will choose carefully, if they have the wherewithal, the time and the luxury of doing so, will choose their partner that they go into, particularly an intimate relationship with, very carefully. And as I often do, I'll bring an example of my own in here. Narcissists often tell us the truth in coming out with statements, and it is their worldview that they may give you little snippets of what they actually believe. And I remember being told that quality people are important, and that I was told that I was a quality person. And I was going, a quality person? What is a quality person exactly? I was absolutely intrigued at this. Well, a quality person is, someone that doesn't mess around, someone that's, going to be loyal, and someone that's just, they have integrity, and they're just, I think what the person meant was someone who's going to be predictable in their good qualities, just as they're predictable in their bad. In other words, someone who's not a narcissist, someone who can be manipulated and whose boundaries can be broken down systematically the way a narcissist will. Someone who will keep their word, someone who wants to help other people, someone who is basically as good as a human being can strive to be. And when a narcissist finds that type of person, they're absolutely licking their lips. They're delighted with themselves because narcissists believe good people are stupid. We have to remember that the whole basis of malignant narcissism is built around not being stupid enough, or stupid and being good and doing stuff for other people without getting double that in return, i.e. use manipulations, don't be genuinely good, take, steal, destroy, don't build, be productive, don't be kind, don't be giving things away to people unless you're going to get, as I say, tenfold back. So ultimately, a good or quality person is what the narcissist is looking for. And being a narcissist, they will continue in this pattern, thinking that that's the right thing for them to do, that they don't want another player in their life. Notwithstanding the fact that they can end up having disastrous relationships with who they term good people, and those relationships sometimes really, really backfiring on them badly because they underestimate what a good quality person is. They underestimate the strength of a good quality person, in inverted commas. So Mr. and Mrs. Narcissist think, hey, I'm onto something here. This is a good one. This one is a real idiot. I'm really going to have a good time with this one. So they keep doing it. They never learn, because if they were to learn, then they would be building into empathy, building into consciousness, building into growth and personal development. So when the relationship with the good quality person, and we get on to that now, backfires with them, they just blame the person. They say, oh, that person changed. That person wasn't who they said they were in the beginning. The good quality person goes out the window. So it wasn't them made a mistake or anything, but it was the good quality person was actually, a bad person in disguise. So they go off then to choose their idea of a good quality person again, despite that relationship maybe backfiring on them and hurting them in some way. So the narcissist, when they find their good quality person that they're going to they see something in, or they see that person has, and they think this is a great combination because that person's an idiot, i.e. the good quality person, and they have a really nice house and I don't have a house. Or they're one of their parents or one of their brothers has a company and I need a job in that company because that'll get me to here, there and everywhere. Whatever the narcissist sees you have, if you have what they want and they assess you as being stupid, basically, being good and kind and generous and a person of integrity, then they're all in. They will definitely pick you as their number one choice in the supply brigade, or whatever choices they've set up for themselves as options. They will buy into your investment in the relationship. They will know that when you make a commitment, that you will do everything possible to maintain, uphold, and work on that commitment with them. So they present to you in whatever way customized to you that you are going to invest and buy into. they will often give you extreme validation, and that, don't be fooled and tricked into thinking love bombing, what we term in the narcissistic abuse community, that love bombing is all, roses and dinners and vacations. While that may be a part of it, and, great physical activities, while all that may be a strong part of it, if that's not your particular, penchant, if that doesn't actually ring all your bells, if that actually makes you back away a bit and mistrust, then they will go in with, oh, help me, please help me. I'm a hard done by victim, and I admire you so much. If there's any way that you could give me advice on what to do here, and money and, help and whatever else you can do to make me feel better. And there will be thanks and accolades coming your way, or they'll say to their family, oh, Jackie really helped me out. I've never known a person like her. Or Johnny, he's the best man I've ever come across. He's my hero. He really saved me, and we need to raise a glass to him for everything he's done. You know the score, guys. You know the way it goes. So whatever makes you feel really good makes you invest further. Because if you invest initially into something and you spend a lot of time investing in that, and if you are future faked into thinking that all this hard work is going to have an outcome that you desire, because the narcissist has already asked you, what's your ideal? Maybe not in direct words, but they found out what ticks your boxes. They found out that you were maybe lonely, maybe looking for a stable relationship, maybe looking for a lot of holidays, maybe looking for someone you could really trust and rely on, maybe looking for someone like yourself. So they will give you whatever it is that's going to tick the box for a certain length of time, for the buy-in and the investment of you not readily or easily giving up on this relationship that held so much hope and that made you feel so good about yourself initially. So you weren't actually just falling in love with the narcissist. You were falling in love with yourself, because they facilitated, and I have said this before in podcasts, they facilitated the best of you. They facilitated and allowed you to be the best of yourself. And then they turn around and they tell you that that wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough. And they devastate you. And they devalue you. And they use all the tricks of the trade in the dark, narcissistic toolbox. I always call it pure evil. Playing games with people's lives. Playing games because not everybody gets to survive this. People believe what the narcissist wants them to believe sometimes. They don't know that these people are out there. They hoover. They break boundaries down further as you try and comply and make the relationship work that you've invested in, that appeared so good at the beginning, that made you feel so good about yourself. And as you are vulnerable and exposed more of yourself to the narcissist turns around and tells you you're absolute crap. So there comes a point in the relationship when, or the discard, oftentimes the discard, because we find it very hard to give up hope when we have experienced something so amazing as finding the wonderful side of ourself and associating it with the narcissist, unfortunately, because that's the gear, that's the game. That's the game that's set up. You're a quality person. The narcissist knows how your mind works. They will pick out your vulnerabilities and they'll squeeze them. They'll just use all the whole toolbox of narcissistic evil. So you have to choose yourself at some point, or go downhill and become a total non-person, lose your identity, comply with everything the narcissist wants, and still maybe get dumped. You may become, and I hope you won't listening to this, but some people do become what would be classified as kind of doormatish, in that the narcissist returns to them time and time again in between people that they purport to love as the transitionary supply. And this can be a family member, or it can be some poor soul who is always there for the narcissist, thinking that because the narcissist comes back to them time and time again, it must be true love. But what that person needs to look at is why the narcissist leaves them time and time again. So how does having a relationship with you backfire on the narcissist? And a lot of people say when you do a podcast like this, oh, my narcissist went off and he had a great life. Oh, she's married a very rich person and they're just having the time of their lives. Oh, nothing ever came to pass for them. It was me that suffered. It was me that suffered and the narcissist didn't suffer at all. Well, that is what they want you to believe. Some of the time, that is temporarily true. But narcissists, because of their narcissism, always create collateral consequences and leave good people and leave good situations. And money that they inherit or steal from someone in a relationship by subterfuge, by deceit, by lying, by fraud, by conning a person. Because of their greed, their sense of entitlement, and their magical thinking, they often make the most dreadful investments, or they use that money to attract another narcissist. Some narcissists, the very few, will end up, rich and remain rich, or may have started off rich. But the quality of their relationships, and they will know this, they do know this, in their end of days, there is nobody that actually cares for them. They may die surrounded by their staff or someone who's waiting for an inheritance, but there is no love there. That is the general rule of thumb. But getting back to this podcast title, how the relationship with you will backfire on the narcissist. The whole deal with the devil, in my opinion, is that these good people who have a purpose in life, who are going to make a difference in this world, and I know if you've been really savaged by a narcissist, you have a purpose. You have something that you were required to do here that would actually give you life, make you feel alive, and make you feel extreme happiness and extreme peace within you. You're being distracted or taken off your path. I say this time and time again, if a narcissist targets you. The revenge and the devil, or this bad energy or spirit of the narcissist, is that good quality people have an innate strength, because you need to be strong to be good. It's much easier to be bad. You need to be strong to withhold your integrity, to be kind when you feel like you've nothing else to give, to love when you feel you may get hurt by loving because you've loved and it's backfired sometimes, because narcissists are hovering around you. The revenge on the devil is that you become, in the fullness of your person, you go from strength to strength on an incredibly painful recovery journey. And you may not want to do this. You may be at the stage where you're saying, I have nothing to give. I don't feel like going on. And believe me, a lot of that is psychological grooming, brainwashing, and dopamine addiction, or dopamine, addiction to the narcissist, and the way they got you addicted on it as them being the dopamine dealer. So your hormones are all over the place. There are a lot of things impacting on how you feel at the moment, your isolation, maybe breakdown of relationships through the narcissistic grooming process. So please don't give up if you're at that place, but please know, and I try and identify what you would have been doing if the narcissist hadn't distracted you from it, or what you'd actually really like to do in your life. What is your passion or your dream? And if you don't know, if you'd like some coaching, let's do it. So the revenge is that you get stronger, and instead of maybe mildly doing what you were doing before, or maybe putting it on the back burner as not having the confidence to do it, pain is a huge stimulator to motivating you to not be afraid anymore, because once you overcome this, you can overcome anything. It is that bad. And I think only someone who's really been through it, who's had their brain, their soul, their body, their spirit actually taken apart by a narcissist, having to put that all back together the way you would like it put back together, is one hell of a job. But as with all things that are very hard, or a lot of things that are very hard and that people put a lot of effort into and succeed at, it is incredibly rewarding. So know that that is at the end of your journey. It's incredibly rewarding to get to know yourself better and to love yourself and to be at peace with yourself and to not need the love and validation from someone else. But if someone else gives that, it is so enjoyable to share those kind of talks with someone, to give back, a reciprocal friendship or relationship. But it's not something you need. It's not something you're seeking for outside of yourself. It's something that you own within yourself. But the communication with other human beings makes it all the more alive and beautiful. And you can feel yourself more when you're with other lovely human beings, and they do exist out there. So how does it backfire on the narcissist? That is a big backfire. That is a big backfire. So you're not waiting for the narcissist to come hoover you. You're not devastated. You're not buying into the illusion that you lost a quality person. The narcissist is the one that lost the quality person. We think that narcissists go off and find that there's loads of quality people out there with what the narcissist wants. That, my friends, is not the case. For one, there's education about narcissism out there, and it's getting more so. And I never really ask people to share the podcast, but if you can, it might help someone. Would help me. Thank you. Would help Remy. Wouldn't it, Rem? He says, get on with it. I want to go out. Look, he's yawning for anyone that's not on video, that's just on audio. Other people whom the narcissist has disrespected, been extremely cruel to, discarded, the score, do actually go and seek to avenge what's happened to them, or to avenge what's happened to a loved one. And I do have examples of this, believe it or not. With people that I have coached over the years, there are some who will actually go after the narcissist in order to seek to get back what the narcissist has stolen from them, or to cause the narcissist some issues in some form of a vengeance for themselves. And if you think that there are some people that I know, maybe that you know, and the narcissist continues this pattern of destruction throughout their lives, the average statistics would tell you that at least one person is going to come after them in their lifetime, if not more. They are literally causing themselves bad karma. They go on to something that they seem to think is better, but with no regard for what they're leaving behind. And the situation they go on to may well not be better. And then they can't get back to what they had before because you're listening to this podcast or another podcast, or I listened to a podcast and got the information. You know, there's a lot of people who are giving up hope on humanity and the fact that there are people out there who do have a conscience, who are human and who do care. And I've only heard recently where someone I was speaking to in coaching, they were warned about what the narcissist was actually trying to do to them. And these people weren't family members, you know, they weren't loved ones. They were just people that thought, this isn't right. This isn't right. What these people are trying to do to this person who doesn't seem to be bad and hasn't done anything to harm them. In fact, has done the opposite. I guess we need to see more of that because we often hear about the bad news and we hear, you know, we learn a lot about narcissists and we think, where are all the good people gone? The good people are there. I speak to them very frequently in coaching. I suppose that gives me so much trust and faith in you guys and in people around me, because the narcissist can leave you in a state of distrust and paranoia if you believe what they want you to believe. So, to conclude, after hearing that, don't you think that the narcissist totally underestimated you and who you were? They don't believe that you would actually go out of your way to do anything that might, out of character for you, that might say, listen here, laddie, you know, you're not getting away with that. You are not getting away with that. You're not going on to somebody else to do the same to somebody else. Or at least I'm going to make it much more difficult for you to do that to somebody else. You're going to have some payment here, and the big man up there is going to see to it anyway, even if you don't do anything and just concentrate on yourself. The other thing I would say, and the last thing I would say about anybody who came to this podcast and said, well, how will it backfire for the narcissist because they had a relationship with me? There are so many circumstantial things we've said throughout the podcast as to why that is very likely to happen to the narcissist, that it will backfire on them. But a lot of people, or a percentage of people, will actually seek to avenge themselves against the narcissist. Some people call it revenge. I call it avenging, because an injustice has been done to you or your loved one, and this person looks like they're going to continue to perpetuate that evil on this planet. What I would say is, if you are ever thinking of getting the relationship with you to backfire on the narcissist, you need to do this from a position of no emotion or little emotion. Because that's the field the narcissist wins in: emotional triggering, chaos, subterfuge, lies. You would have to plan a strategy. You would have to look at the long term, protect yourself. You would have to look at what would stop them from doing what they're doing most effectively, and then work with that particular plan. But it has to be, if you are considering doing this, you do not go looking for the relationship to backfire on the narcissist from an emotional point of view. There's no point in going up and saying, hey, here, Johnny, now, you know, I'm going to tell you what I think of you, and etc., etc., and I'm going to tell everyone what I think of you, etc., etc., because the narcissist will go, yay. It's an emotional reaction. They're so important that you're angry at them. They're so important, and all the attention they're going to get from all the people that are talking about them. That's not avenging yourself on the narcissist. And they will also go after you in that particular circumstance to make your life more painful. They will trigger you emotionally into making a mistake. So don't go down that road. If you are wanting the relationship, if you were wanting to put action into the relationship with the narcissist backfiring, which I firmly believe 3/4, if not more, of the relationships that narcissists have with good people do backfire on them. I would say to you, be very careful and do it in a non-emotional, very strategic way. You may not want to waste any time, prolonging your interaction with the narcissist because you have so many great things to do with your life. But you may think that it is appropriate to seek justice and to prevent that person from at least dimming them down a bit so that they can't do as much damage as they've done to you. Make that damage into something great. Make that work for you. Turn it on its head. Something bad can be turned into something very good. And I think that that is the best way to avenge a relationship with a narcissist. So until the next time, guys, take great care of yourselves, and we will see you again shortly. Bye from me and bye from Remy. See you soon. Bye.